flight deck. Fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Morning, guys. Sorry for the delay in talking to you, but there's a big discussion happening in the background here with Pilot Sasso and so on. So just bear with them. I'm going to open their microphones a little bit later on. So Rab, give me a second. Rab, give me a second. Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, but you didn't activate the route. That was what happened yesterday. Guys, I don't want to discuss two streams now. You talk on your side. I'm just going to mute you guys until I'm ready for you, okay? Right, there's Discord. I've muted them. Otherwise, they keep on talking in my mind. You see, okay, so this is the point of the stream. The point of the stream is that Zibo changed the FMC code, it appears to be, okay, that he changed the code. And all of a sudden, there are some people that have no problem programming the FMC, and all of a sudden there are a lot of people that get a freeze and a crash, you know, if they press the execute button. So yesterday, approximately 10 different people started talking with me. Some of the guys came to Discord. They actually showed me how they do the programming, and because they're not doing it correctly, they get this error. So I've sent the information to Zibo. He needs to look at the exit code in the code because it shouldn't crash the sim when there's an error. But there should be a way of telling the person, listen, your procedure of programming this FMC is wrong. It just doesn't work, okay? But in this whole journey, we are now at a point where I've asked Sasso to join us, and as you guys know, he's a real-world pilot. He flies for the same company as Flydeck to Sim, same qualifications. Okay, so there's no doubt in what he's going to say. He's already explained to me that the way I program my FMC and the way I've always taught the people is one of the correct ways. He's also given us a different way of doing it. But somewhere in this whole story, there seems to be a small issue with the FMC code. And that's going to be up to Zibo to find it and to change it and to make everything work. Okay, but in the interim, I think it's imperative that we actually look at programming the FMC correctly instead of your way, my way, and the other guy's way, you know. There are certain fundamental things that need to be in place before you go to the next one, and that's just the basis of it all. So good morning to you all. Steel, Dimitri, 737, Crescendo, Andrew, and Peter. Good morning, guys. We've got a whole bunch of guys sitting here in Discord, and we're going to obviously start now. So let me go grab them and get them alive on the stream.
Now, you don't. It's correct that you have the button to activate route, but the moment that.
All right, they're still busy. All right, they're still busy. Guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start programming the Zibo to get going so we don't waste time. I need to obviously do a couple of things, and then when we get to the FMC, we'll bring them in because they are now getting their own private training from Sasso, it seems. So I'm going to quickly do this. I hate it when I just slip my finger and it goes one too far. Just one too far. Now it's going to take a wee while to sort itself out. So switch it off. We'll go back to that. Damn it. We don't have power, that's why. What's wrong now? Yeah, Sasa is a great teacher. You can say that again. I'm just going to reload this aircraft. It's not doing what I'm expecting. No point in trying to do tutorial if the flipping aircraft doesn't want to work. Sorry for the delay, guys. Yeah, I've muted you guys, so stand by. I mean, I don't want all that discussion on the stream, so stand by. I'm going to open it up now. There you go. Now you guys are live, so if you can stick to the program, I would appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so for some reason, the aircraft did not behave this morning, and I don't know why, so I'm going to try again. Hope it works this time. It's not taking my ground power. What on earth does that now do? It's not accepting the ground power. Never seen this in my life. Ever. Hold on.
Reboot.
Yeah, I'm going to have to restart it. Give me a second, yeah. I just want to see if this thing isn't interfering. Could be Sam. Yeah, now it's on. Now it's on. It seems to be a clash with Sam. Sam needs an update or something again. I don't know. All right, so it's running. Now we can do this. Now I have to be careful. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right.
You sure he's on?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if it's on, is it showing the line yet?
What line? There you
the
can see it's
IRS.
on. You can see it's on. You can see the lights running. Yeah, no, it's on. It's definitely on.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so what I say to the guys is I'm going to start programming the system quickly, and then we can, you know, revert to the actual FMC and start concentrating when we get there. And fuel is correct. Okay, so that is done already. So we're almost at this FMC. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, Dimitri, I didn't have the power on. It was disabled, but it still interfered, so it doesn't matter. It's over now. What we're going to do now is I'm going to show you where I believe the big problem comes into, and first of all, show you how I program the FMC, and through the process, I'll show you where I think where the big problem comes into, where things happen incorrectly in the code. So what I'm going to do, I've obviously put in the previous load, I put the, what's his name, or it's not working. Hold on. Why is it not asking for, it's not asking for the, what's his name, for the coordinates, but it is running. Pretty sure it would have thrown it away if I did the reload, but anyway, let's continue.
It keeps it, Nico. It doesn't get rid of it if you reset it.
Okay, yeah, that's what it appears to do, so we'll go with that. So origin is now EINN, and we're going to fly to EGCC, right? CC. All right. So whether you do it this way with a company route, Mac showed me this morning in the actual manual, the manufacturer's manual of the FMC. It says that you need an origin, a destination, and one other point before you can activate a flight plan. The other point is that one. I'm going to reset this thing, start again, and show you. The other point is your runway, right? So we have EINN. Not yet, Carolus, you're in time. So we're going to put EINN. We are going to put EGCC, right? And you'll note the activate does not appear yet. You need one other point. This is what the actual manufacturer's manual says. So we're going to input the runway as the other point. The moment you see that, the activate happens, all right? Now, one of the common factors amongst everybody that complained about the FMC freeze yesterday was nobody activated this flight plan, and that's why it crashed. Because effectively, if you do not tell this system, that is my flight plan, and you continue filling in the FMC, it doesn't know what you're talking about. That's where the exception comes from, and that's why it bombs out. So the first principle you need to learn today is never move off this page until you've activated this flight. Right? You do not have to execute now, but my OCD doesn't allow me to go past it without executing it. Now, this is where Sasso comes in, and he explained where and how the real world guys do it, because you've got one pilot inputting the flight plan, the other one checks it and then executes it when he's happy. All right? So we're not going to execute it right now. If you look at any of my previous videos, you'll see I immediately press that button because the light comes on. Right? But for the problem we're experiencing, I believe it's related to the activation. All right? So I can reset this thing, and I can do it my way as well. Root EINN EGCC. That's my company route. It immediately fills in my third point, my origin and destination, and it gives me activate. So it disregards the fact that you're either doing it manually or you're doing it through a company route. It makes absolutely no difference. The difference comes in, you have to activate it. You cannot move off this page until you've activated it. And without fail, everybody that's had a problem, or almost without fail, people don't activate when they're here. They just skip it and then they continue and they start doing the rest of the setup. So, Sasso.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir. Okay, I want you to tell us. I mean, anybody can go and watch any of my videos, how I used to do it. It's no point in me showing them the whole procedure. From this point on, you're now sitting in the real aircraft. What do you do next? What do you want us to do? How do we do this?
Okay, if I can, Nico, I just want to show to the people the easy way of the FMC. The FMC in some way is talking to you. It's telling you what he needs to let you fly the aircraft. So if you just reset the FMC completely, Nico, and then we start again from the first page that you get as soon as you press FMC. So as soon as you sit into the aircraft. Because the FMC, guys, is, as always, is telling you what he needs. So let's say this is a brand new FMC, just loaded. This is the first page that you will get, okay? In this page, as soon as you power up the aircraft, you will get this page. You can double check the IRAC. This is the first thing that you want to do. Then if you follow the bottom right of the FMC, it will guide you towards the page that you need in the correct sequence to let you fly the airplane. So we start with position pose init.
Sasa,
Yeah.
I'm streaming on Discord, so you can watch me there. Then you can talk quicker. Otherwise, you've got that delay. So just follow me on Discord. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so on pose init, as you can see, you can put the reference airport, and then on the bottom right, if the IRS is not aligned, you will get the boxes, and then you can take the position from the GPS left to right and put it there. Then, as you can see, again, bottom right, we go into the route page. So FMC is telling you, okay, my friend, now we need the route page. And here, as Nico was saying, if you have the company route, fine. If not, you will have to load the origin ICAO code, which has to be the same, of course, of the position post init, if you are doing, let's say, the first flight of the day. And then you have to put the call sign, so origin, destination, the call sign. Now, I know about the runway, but it's not compulsory to put it into this page. Because if we don't select the runway point, then we can go into depth arrival. So the sequence is origin, destination, call sign, then depth arrival, and we start to put the expected SID for the departure. So as soon as you select the runway into this page, it will automatically fill in the runway into the previous page. So it's gonna work either way. So Nico select the SID, that's perfect. Then we go, now at this point we have two ways of proceeding. Or we select depth arrival and we select the star of the arrival airport, or we go into route page, we fill in the route in the middle, like airways and Waypoint as per flight plan, and then we reach the start point. There is no problem with this. Both are absolutely fine.
The problem with the Zibo code right now, Sasso, is if you do not activate here, you can't do this.
That's the next step. Yeah. You have always, you can put now the arrival, the star, but then you will have always to activate before leaving this page, as you said before.
All right, so there's the ILS, then we do
Correct.
Mercy.
Perfect.
Sorry, hang on. Mercy. 3B. Okay, that's that one. So now we click on route again, and now we're there.
And then before activate, go into next page and double check that there is no discontinuity. This is very important because sometimes, and especially if there are some temporary procedure, like at the moment in Bucharest, I've flown there last week, and it's mandatory by NOTAM to change a particular waypoint, otherwise the route in the FMC will not activate. Okay, so always double check the route first to check if there is any discontinuity, and in that case you have to clear the discontinuity, and at this point you can press activate. Now, we don't need to execute, okay? We don't need. We may, because we are in the sim, we are not waiting another pilot, but in reality, you will wait the other pilot, which in the middle maybe is doing the walk around or something else, to double check the route with you, make sure you have the correct route loaded, and then you will execute the route. That's the sequence.
Yes.
If you press the route page, Nico.
Yeah.
Now basically we are in the situation where we have all fill in, and then, I mean, if you press init ref.
Now it's asking me this.
Up. Okay.
There you go.
And now in route, there, so we can execute this page.
Yeah.
And as you can see, always at the bottom right, if you follow the bottom right of the FMC, it will guide you to the next sequence, which is perf init. And here you know better than me actually to how to fill in this stuff. And just follow the FMC. The FMC is telling you what he needs to fly the aircraft.
Of course, of course. Okay. All right. So the big difference between how I usually do it and what you have told us is when I get to this page, I activate it and I immediately press execute. What then happens is when I go to the departure and I change anything here, I have to execute again. When I go to the arrival and I change anything, I have to execute again. Doing it your way, you only press execute once.
Correct.
Okay.
Also, because once, especially, and this is a particular threat that you have in aviation, once you have the FMC loaded, especially if you have already the takeoff speed selected, okay, so you are ready for pushback basically, or already, you know, pushback is completed. ATC calls you and say, Skymatix 5 runways change. Now, new runway is the opposite. You have to change the FMC legs page. You will lose the takeoff speed. So you have to manually reselect. So always follow what the FMC is asking you, because it will tell you again, takeoff speed deleted. You have to reselect the takeoff speed.
Exactly. No, that's perfectly fine. Still, yeah, that's another good question. A lot of flight simmers seem to think that they shouldn't put the endpoints into this FMC. In reality, you have to have, even if you change it later, you have to have your SID and your star and close the loop, basically. Otherwise, you're going to get bogus calculations and this system is going to struggle. So you have to pre-fill everything before you leave the gate. That's the best way of doing it. I've never ever been in a cockpit in that jump seat and seen a single pilot in the real world not close the loop.
Absolutely. Never do that. Also because in the prog page, you want to see with the actual amount of fuel that you have, what will be your arrival fuel. And you want to make sure that this arrival fuel is more than the required for the first alternate.
Yes.
So you never go with the legs page incompleted.
Yes. All right. I'm just quickly doing the performance calculation here while I've got TopCat open. So 1, takeoff 2. I'm going to actually leave it like that. There's a question I have about that if I can remember to ask you. All right. So we're going to do a flaps 1 takeoff according to TopCat, and we're just going to run like this. Okay. So you see, I didn't get a freeze, and I just want to go back just to reiterate. The reason that I've seen why people get the freeze is they never activate this page in the correct order, at least. Once you're on this page, you can follow the tutorial we've just given you. Before you move to the next section as such, please remember to activate it. Okay, so that takes care of that. Thank you, Sasso. That's much appreciated.
Pleasure.
All right. So, again, just to also reiterate, there's 2 ways of doing it. You can do it my way or you can do Sasso's way. If you want to simulate the real way, please follow Sasso's way. All right. So there's the 2 that is very important. All right. If you've got any questions, guys, there's 36 of you watching. If you've got questions before we move on, please ask them now. Exactly, Cole. Yeah, thanks for that input. That is true. You see, now, one of the things that I've been doing, if the guys have followed me for a while, they know I thumb suck because I've got a rule of thumb that I mess around with in my mind, you know, to quickly calculate the SL temperature and things like that. But it's been, 2-3 weeks now since we've been really using, you know, performance calculations and things again. And that's why it looks different. You know, there's something to get used to again. All right, there is something else, Sasso, that we need to talk about before we go too far, sir, and that's the DER. Can you tell us what DER is?
So, before telling you what DER is, I will tell you why DER has been created.
Good.
one of the best friends during your flight is LNAV. LNAV is lateral navigation, which will guide you in terms of flight director, and then if you want, the other best friends, which is the autopilot, will help you to keep the aircraft aligned laterally within your route, okay? The famous route that we just entered in our FMC. Now, the problem arises when the first waypoint, so usually it depends on the procedure, but usually latest by the takeoff, latest by the alignment on the runway, you will arm ELNAV. Okay, some companies, they do it when completing, before starting the pushback, they arm ELNAV and VNAV, or some other company arm ELNAV latest once entering the runway. And here the problem, when the first waypoint in the legs page is 5 degrees or more offset from the runway track, so from the runway center line, then ELNAV will not engage. And if you think about this is for safety reason, because as soon as you take off, if you have a problem, okay, let's say an engine fire during rotation, the idea is that we don't want that the pilot will follow flight director guidance at low altitude, because immediately at 50 feet AGL, ELNAV will become active and it will start to guide you, let's say, to the left or to the right. It depends when this point is. That's why they created these, so ELNAV will not engage in this situation. If the first waypoint in the legs page is more than 5 degrees offset from the runway, from the departure runway, then ELNAV will not engage. You will have to take off in heading select, and then usually at 400 feet AGL, you will ask or you will engage ELNAV, okay? To avoid this problem, they said, okay, so how about if we create a waypoint at the end of the departure runway, which is gonna be on the runway center line, of course, and then we use that as a first waypoint, and in this way, ELNAV will be perfect and available for every departure. That's why they created the departure end of runway, which is coded as a Delta Echo Romeo, and then the numbers that you have at the end are gonna be the, let's say, I don't know, taking off for runway 24 is gonna be Delta Echo Romeo 24. That means departure end of runway 24, and you will get it into the legs page. This is not a waypoint that is known to ATC. So ATC doesn't know that you have this point, because it's not actually a navigation point. It's mainly for the possibility to use ELNAV, to arm ELNAV for departure. That's the idea. You can use this waypoint as needed. You can put also an altitude restriction to this point, but the main purposes of this waypoint is to be able to use ELNAV for every departure.
Excellent. Thank you, Sasso. Now, yesterday when we departed Shannon, or tried to depart, Uncle John and Kevin were flying, and they actually called me and they said to me that, have a look here. And we went to the legs page. Let me just erase that one. We went to the legs page. The actual SID, the SID that they chose, had runway 24 in the legs page. That's where the discussion of Delta Echo Romeo came from. This, what do you call it?
Departure end of runway.
Departure end of runway. Right, there we go. That's where it came into. Now, strangely enough, by sheer chance, I chose a different SID, so I don't have it. Uncle John, can you remember what the SID was that you guys used yesterday departing from this runway?
Sadly, I've been to sleep since then. No.
We were not expecting these, Uncle John, you know.
Yeah, I know. So, okay, well, Kevin is not here. Now, the question is now, look, I don't know. Let's see if we can just find it quickly. So we're going to use 24.
Gents, look what is going to happen as soon as Nico executes this route. Look, executes. Now look on your PFD. But unless well, if the runway, well, no, the runway is still
It's
runway
still the
24.
same. Yeah, it's still
Exactly.
the same.
That's
Yeah.
why you don't lose the takeoff speed.
Yeah, but
that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, no, that's fine, Sasa. But now I'm looking. I want to see where's this departure.
Probably is the other one. Probably is the other one, Nico, because you will have runway 24 as the first waypoint if the departure runway is a runway 06.
Oh, that's
and
true.
The other
That's
way
true.
around.
That's true. That's
Look
true.
now.
That's true.
Look now. As soon as he execute,
Yeah.
we should get the takeoff speed
Deleted. So that's runway 6. There's now a discontinuity as well,
Yeah.
and takeoff speeds have been deleted. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we've got runway 6 there. Now the question is now, no, that's not the one. Was it? I don't know. Let's have a look, see. Whatever. Yeah, there you go. So we're taking off. Look, we're taking off from runway 6. And this confused us yesterday because we just didn't have the knowledge. But look, our first waypoint is runway 24. And we went,
That's
what?
correct.
What?
That's correct. Because, gents, if you look at it, the line is completely to the right, okay? So the FMC needs something within 5 degrees of the runway center line to be able to work. Okay? Otherwise, you won't engage. Simple as that. So it's just to help the pilots without having the, let's say, the work to do of taking off in heading select. Heading select, guys, will comes up usually with the latest FMC that we got in the Zibo. It's automatically, okay? It will automatically engage heading select once you press Toga. Even if you didn't select it in the MCP, as soon as you press Toga, heading select will kick in and will go there in front of your eyes. And then it's pilot monitoring calling, okay, please give me ELNAV, and pilot monitoring will press ELNAV at the good, reasonable altitude. So yeah, that's the rule. The end of the departure runway is gonna be your first waypoint to help guiding you with ELNAV.
Excellent. And now we just need to get rid of this discontinuity. So just going to lift that one up. There you go.
Can you go back to the first page again, Sneeko, just for a second?
Which first page now?
Your legs page.
There, that's it.
Somebody
That's it.
tell me why the direction before runway, it says runway 24, why it's 19 degrees?
That's a good question, to be honest. I was looking at that as well.
Because the runway direction is 56 degrees.
Yes.
Correct. And is also as a bypass.
Okay. Can I say something stupid? Just because I am stupid, so please don't laugh at me. But is that 19 degrees, is that not relative to the aircraft from our position where we are now?
Exactly.
Could be. That's why I'm saying, but it should be showing from the...
Let's do this. Let's do this. Carl, I'm blonde, man. I'm blonde. And I've got a beard, you know, that's all grey and, you know, showing my age. Anyway, listen, let's leave it on the legs page and keep our eye on that as we move, okay, if it changes or not.
Wait. Go in the route page.
Yeah.
We need runway 06, takeoff. You have these route loaded, correct?
Yeah.
As a company route. Okay. May I ask you to, well, I don't want to say reset the FMC, but reset only the route. To clear the route.
Well, we can reset the FMC. I don't mind. Let's do it from the beginning.
Because I don't want that is some problem related with changing the runway instead of actually the correct sequence.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah.
Give me a second, because I see what happened, Sasso, behind the scenes, and I didn't pick up on that. When I made the company route earlier, it automatically jumped to runway 24 for takeoff. In my mind, I knew I wanted to use 06. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export, I fixed it in Navigraph, okay? I'm going to export the new one.
What I can say, in real world, when you have a company route, the company route will never include departure runway and landing runway. Never. Exactly to avoid problem like this with the FMC going crazy. You always get the route, and then it's your job to create the SID and the star.
Yeah, so that's the way SimBrief exports. But Navigraph exports everything. Navigraph
I
gives
know.
you
Yeah,
everything.
I know.
Yes, I want to replace it. All right, so we're going to go to the route. This is not a long route. I'm going to humor you and I'm going to actually give it, I'm going to just program it manually. Okay, so EINN and EGCC. All right.
Okay. Just put the call sign and don't put any runway. So we're going to show people
All right,
that
so,
runway will be filled in when you select the SIT.
all right, so now we go to departure. I'm
Correct.
going to go runway 6.
Yeah.
And it's the Tom 3A departure. Okay.
Now, at this point, we have two ways. Or we go into depot arrival and fill in the star. This is the way I personally do. So we go into depot arrival and we select the arrival runway and the star.
All right, let me get that on my screen. Mercy 3 Bravo and ILS 05 left, MCT transition. Okay, done.
Perfect. Now we go into route. You press route there at the bottom right. Or and then next page.
Yeah.
And now you fill in what you need between Tomto and MALUD. Because in this way, when you fill in the route between Airways and Waypoint, I promise you that the last waypoint before the start is going to be MALUD in some way. Otherwise, you're loading the wrong route or the wrong arrival. So in this way, the discontinuity will be cleared up as soon as you reach MALUD into your flight plan.
Right, so from Tomto, we're going direct to OSGAR, then OTNER.
Yep.
OTNER, right? Then LIFFY.
Oh, the famous LIFFY.
Yes.
It's the exit point from Dublin.
Yes. There's LIFFY. Then UL 975. Lima 975. And that takes us to MALUD.
Perfect. Just go next page. No, that's the beautiness of having the star. Take MALUD and bring it up.
I was
And that's
thinking,
it.
yeah.
And now, as you can see, guys, activate is there, ready for you. You have no discontinuity. Activate, standing by for execute if you want, or, well, in the sim world, I always, myself as well, I always execute it.
Yeah.
There is no point in waiting for a double check.
Yes.
So we can execute, and then, beautiness of the FMC. Okay, my friend, let's go in performance unit. Before doing that, Nico, if you want to double check in the legs page, we see the track for the first waypoint. Oh, it's still 1.9. Yeah. Now, it's been a while since I've been in Shannon, so I don't know.
All right, okay. We'll keep an eye on it. We're not going to bother with it. I mean, let's just step through anyway, make sure that it is fine. That's the one thing we did not do yet, is to actually step through.
No, Nico, go out from the plan mode.
Yeah.
Check legs page now. No, still 1.9.
Yeah.
Don't know. Strange.
Yeah, okay. Let's just keep an eye on it. Let's continue, do our thing, and get going, because I'm running out of time. Right. Streamlabs. Edge. Done. Barry's asking a question there, Sasha.
Coming. 24 minus 6, 18. Is that relevant? Let me think. So we are taking off from runway 06.
Don't know why somebody gave me 350. That's hopelessly too high, but anyway, we'll try our best to get there. -2, execute. Right, we said 35. Delay 2, takeoff. Yeah, we're going to keep it lazy. Flaps 1. And we're ready. See, trim is set. We've got everything else set. One more. Right.
No, Barry is 1019, non 190. So it can be, or it's miscoded, okay, which could be. Because if it was 190, I would take it as correct. Because 240 minus 060 gives me 180, which is fine. But the problem is that in the next page is 19, so it means 019, which is completely wrong. Unless it's wrong coded and is missing a 0. Could be.
I'm pretty certain, Sasso, what it is. What bay are you parked on, Nico?
37.
Hang on. It's because it's measuring it from your current ramp. If you look at the airport diagram and you draw a line from your ramp point to the 24, that's going to be pointing at 19 degrees roughly, isn't it? 19, 20 degrees.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Before start procedure.
So as you taxi to 06, it may well alter that.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yes. I'm on the runway, aligned on the runway, runway 06, and the first waypoint is going to be runway 24 with 056. So it's actually moving when you go around the airport, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Vatsim. Rex. Enjoy.
That's interesting.
Speak later.
That's interesting. One of the two is wrong, I think. Either one you go into plan mode. If you go in the plan mode, it should forget your point, well, your position. Because when I brief the SID to the captain, I have no problem with the truck. So I will have to double check this.
It's interesting you mentioned yesterday because 06 isn't recognised as a waypoint because you're taking off not from the end of the runway and the first waypoint is 24, so it's disregarding the fact that 06 as a waypoint exists even, isn't it, at the moment? Interesting. Let you answer that one, Sasso, in the future.
Yeah, I'll try to double check today.
Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine.
No one has any questions with regard to programming the FMC. Please, if you have one, speak up.
And for the guys that have joined late, I see that we've got lots of new people. Guys, the big trick currently with the Zibo is you need to activate the flight plan before you go too far. And if you rewind the video, you'll see there's a specific point where you need to activate your route. If you don't activate it, then you go and start pressing other buttons and going to different pages and trying to execute this thing bombs. That is something Zibo can look at, but we can't look at your procedures. If you're using a wrong procedure to program the FMC, you're going to have to change your procedure.
Studio still on screen.
What's on the screen?
Studio.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Starter cutout.
Technically, if you go into the legs page now, it should already moves.
Yeah.
Yeah?
It did.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Start
But
number 2 engine.
That's normal in the map mode, but if I
Starting
go in
number 2
plan
engine.
mode, this should not happen. Because in plan mode, you freeze the position of the aircraft in some way, and you step through the route. So one of the two is wrong. I believe the plan mode. The plan mode should stick to the north orientation, but I will double check.
Start number 1 engine. Beg your pardon.
Starting number 1 engine.
Let me zoom in again and show you guys. There, look, as we're turning, as we're moving our position, it's changing.
If any of you guys should just come on board, we're very fortunate today. We've got a real world pilot, Sasso, with us. So if you have any personal questions that you're not sure of and you'd like clarified, please ask.
N2.
Yeah.
That's passing brake. Disconnecting
Starter
tow.
cutout.
Stand by.
Yeah, Carl, I'm not sure if Uncle John is aware that you're also a pilot, but anyway, that's one of those things. Carl can also answer your questions. And I'm pretty sure some of the guys watching in the background are also, but they're just not saying. It happens.
I'm sure I was just being specific
I understand.
because Sasso was actually narrating for us.
Yeah, I understand. Now we're back to 19. Right, so taking flaps 1.
Ready for before taxi procedure. Flaps 1 set.
Carolus, now you ask me, give me a second. If you scroll down, there, tells you. Finrace plus alternate, that is your reserve. Alright, let's go. Okay.
Taxi lights on.
Yeah, flaps 1 because that is what the performance calculator told us. We don't need flaps 5. I'm using TopCat and that was the calculation. Also using D-Rate 2 and also you're going to do a lazy climb on a climb -2. So there are 2 altitude restrictions on the SID, on the set. So we have no reason to launch like a rocket at all.
After the engines.
Yeah.
I don't look after my engines. I have a hangar full of big ones.
Yeah, but we're not all that fortunate.
Oh, but we are.
Yeah, in the sim world, yes, obviously. Before takeoff procedure.
06. Before takeoff procedure.
Topcat's not supported. It's still being
On
sold, but
runway
not
2,
supported.
4.
I'm having great difficulty talking to those people. I spoke to Judith a few days ago, but Christian, I just can't get hold of him. She tells me he's busy, and I'd love to know what he's doing, because nobody on earth, even me, I'm just not that busy to not just give somebody 5 minutes, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah, I used to have Top Cat as well in the old days. Yeah.
The only thing with Topcat that is not correct according to the Zibo, or doesn't correspond to the Zibo values, is the N1 values. V speeds you can match, that's not a problem, but the N1 values, especially when you derate, I think the Zibo needs a little bit more, you know, refinement. Not saying their one is perfect, but I think, you know, as part of the evolution of Zibo is to refine it more to match the tables. You'll see when I do the takeoff run now, if you look the way it does it, it's really lazy. It's going to take a while to get going.
Thank you most kind to you guys who hit the like button. It's appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
On runway 06.
Stabilized. Takeoff thrust set.
You forgot the LNAV, or is that one on purpose?
I actually forgot it, I see. You see, I clicked it before we did the reload, before we did the reset. So.
You have the toggle mode now, it's okay.
My wife came upstairs and she was talking to me as I was taxiing, and I asked her, please, can we talk about something later? And it all just worked against me. I apologize.
Positive rate.
I feel stupid now. I really wanted to have it on, and I know I did, and then we reset the FMC and changed everything and came back, and then I didn't do it again. Damn it.
No, LNAV is not correct. No, go ahead and select it to the left, Nico.
Wait. Give it a chance. Me personally, I think the drawing is not right. See, it's flying it. It's flying it, but the drawing is not right.
Exactly, yeah.
Flaps upset.
That should turn right now. Went on a bit of a hunting expedition there. See, it's flying it correctly in brackets,
Transition.
but it wasn't drawing it correctly, and that's why you thought it was going to go off. And also that's why it still allowed me to press the ELNAV button so quickly, because technically on the magenta line I was, you know, off course, but the aircraft knew it still had to fly that path.
Transition altitude.
Well, the correct sequence before engaging ELNAV at that point will be ask Autopilot monitoring to have a sensible waypoint on top, execute that waypoint, and then execute ELNAV. That's exactly to avoiding a kind of 360, because that's what he was doing. A kind of 360 to touch the first waypoint that was already past us, and then go to the next waypoint.
Yeah, fortunately it didn't do the whole 360.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we need to design an overhead visual sign because they're all like some sterile cockpit. So any of my family members come up, they can't speak to you while you're sorting them out.
Uncle John, yeah, that is a good idea, but I don't use it that much. It's not that critical. I'll see what I can do.
Just visualising the sign and switch on.
Yeah, Flight Sim does it. One of the guys I've seen do it. So anyway, just to recap, we've shown you guys that the FMC actually works if you program it correctly, and I do hope that you guys take it to heart and change your ways of programming the FMC to fit with the way it should be. At the same token, I'm waiting for Zibo himself to come back and tell me, you know what we can do about an exit code. There's got to be a better way to exit instead of crashing the whole sim. So that's in the pipeline in my back of my mind. And for the rest, you can see it's working. It really is working. It's not detrimental, you know, to the whole project.
Thank you sincerely for laying it out.
Yeah, Uncle John, you need to come closer to your mic. The people can't hear you.
I said thank you for both you and Cecil for laying it out as it should be.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, this thing was driving us cuckoo yesterday. In actual fact, it's been 2 days already. All kinds of mishaps and problems, and oh no, it's been a tough 2 days.
We've certainly questioned our sanity a couple of times.
Yeah. And then we had the added nonsense with Eurocontrol dropping so many upper airways. So many guys couldn't even program the routes. It was just crazy. It was a nightmare. I'm glad it's over now. How's that livery, guys? Sasso,
Yes.
run by me the climb situation. Remember we said we're going to climb at climb -2. When and where do I set this to normal economic climb and get rid of the derated climb?
You get the full climb from the N1 limit page. It depends on the procedure. What we do in my company, when we are cleared above flight level 150, we go full climb. So we just go in the N1 limit page.
Where do you get that again?
About when we are cleared.
Got it. Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. And now you are on full climb thrust.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I haven't used that in many years, that's why I'm asking. I'm really not sure we're going to make flight level 350. Well, there's the top of climb, there's the descent. Alright, so there's a little bit of flight route in there. Okay. Let's look at the rest so long. Wow, 040 at 16. Ooh.
Yes, so even taking off with the LNAV armed, that drawing is incorrect.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that immediately. So I take it you off today, Sasso?
No, I've been working in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's even nicer that you came around.
Yeah, well, I have another 5-10 minutes before going, but yeah.
That was enough. It was good for us. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Good morning, guys.
Hello.
Morning.
Hello, my Scott. Yeah.
Okay. In case you're approaching in ILS, what has not the DME inside the VOR tuned in. So that when the DME is on a separate frequency, do you tune the DME on the second one, or what do you do?
Good question. Technically, by procedure, you have also to establish that the frequency is correct and that you are on the correct path. Okay. So, what we usually do initially, as before getting established on the ILS, or to verify that we are on the correct ILS and the correct distance, we set the DME frequency on the no flying pilots. That's purely because the FCC, so the flight, basically the flight computer, it's taking the frequency for the, the flight director. The master is gonna be on the left side or right side, okay? So if you wanna fly an ILS, most likely you are pressing approach mode at some point, and that approach button is gonna guide you down with the ILS frequency set on the same side of the master. So if you are flying as a captain, you need to have the ILS frequency active on nav1, correct? Perfect. Now what you can do on the F4 side, so on nav2, you can set the DME frequency, but bear in mind that if you do this, two things: you can't complete an auto land, and also as soon as you basically kind of reach the minimum disconnect, you will lose the flight director guidance. Alright. So what we do, we take the frequency of the DME on the pilot not flying, but then once the distance is verified, we set both of them into the ILS just to avoid any trouble. If we really need at that point the distance from the runway, 99% of the ILS will have the runway pointing to the legs page, so you will have the actual distance from threshold. If not, because you are conducting a non-precision approach, you are gonna have your runway point in the fixed page, and on top of that, to the right of the runway point, you will get radial and distance automatically updated.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice. Thank you very much. That was exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, but by chance there are some approaches also here in Germany where you don't have the DME directly visible in the ILS, and then I was wondering how you do that, and that's perfect explained. Thank you.
Yeah. Also consider always airmanship, okay? So a bit of knowledge. On a 3 degrees glide path, which is usually the standard for an ILS, on a 3 degrees glide path, if I'm at 7 nautical miles from this runway point, 3 degrees times 7 give me around 21, alright? So I would expect, or 3 times 8 in terms of nautical miles will give me 24. So the call of the 2,500 call from the radio altimeters, unless I have a big slope terrain, I'm expecting that call to happen between 8 and 7 nautical miles from the runway.
Perfect.
Same thing with the 1,000 call. 1,000, I'm expecting that 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm expecting the 1,000 call AGL to happen between 3 and 3.5 nautical miles.
Cool. Very nice.
It's turning out to be a lovely stream with all kinds of knowledge flowing, eh?
Yeah.
Finn, not yet. Nope. Needs a placeholder at this time. Exactly. Carl, I'm busy with some tutorial videos on the side that me and Sas have spoken about for a long time, and you'll obviously be one of the consulting pilots there. Yeah, so we're doing something in the background. Sasso,
Yeah?
did you see the? Oh, you know what? I might not have shared it with you. I'll send you one of the teaser things I made the other day. I'll send it to you sometime today.
All right. Yeah, no problem.
There's lots going on in the background for the future.
Excellent, Carl. I'll let you know. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Absolutely, Carl. Please. Yeah, join.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, especially now, well, the summer is kicking in here, and I have always less and less time. I try to stick around when I can. But yeah, Carl, I'm sure I'm talking also for Nico. You're more than welcome to join.
Yeah.
Also, because I don't know if you're flying the 737 or another type of aircraft, but it would be lovely to listen also to some other procedures.
Yeah. One of the big differences is, he's from North America, so it's FIA versus ICAO.
Perfect.
So
that would be great, especially when you do the flight over America.
We'll make a plan. Yeah, he's been around a while, but it's going to be interesting doing some tutorials from the other side of the pond as well.
Absolutely.
Ready for descent procedure.
Carl, I'm just thinking out loud, but when you look at the American charts, of the airport charts, they obviously have a different way of depicting minimums and these kind of things. And that's a pain in my butt, that thing. So at some point in time, you're going to have to teach me how to read those things and what it really means. .737, I'm pretty sure Sasso is still able to read
here.
that. Yeah. Left your message.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thanks. Very good teacher. Well, I hope so.
Carl, it might be useful, if you don't mind, just put a little bit of your background on here for the guys who are watching.
Yeah, well, we're using Navigraph, so it's all depth chart stuff that we need to look at. It's interesting, I didn't think we were going to make 350, and yet here we are, and we actually had 10 minutes or so up here. Nothing but nothingness over the water.
That's a question for you, Sasso. What's the shortest time that you reckon you spent to cruise?
To cruise?
Yeah, at cruise, shortest time.
Well, I don't consider the ferry flight that I did, because there have been a ferry flight with a flight time of 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes. I think it was 4 minutes and a couple of seconds. And that technically has a bit of cruise situation. But I think the shortest time was Dublin to Luton. I did something like 18 minutes in the cruise mode.
1-8.
There's a couple, I think, was flying from Manchester to Dublin, for example.
Yeah, it's very short.
3 minutes I clocked one out on flight radar.
Bless you, Steve. Nico does appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Steve Mayer donated £8.99 through SuperChat. Thanks to both you and Sasso for a great educational stream.
Nico,
Yeah.
I watched that, and only one thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. All right. Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Approach top of descent.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks a lot. I just saw it.
We'll get you a new rig at some point, Nico, if this keeps up.
Yeah. Exactly, Cole. No, we fully understand that, these engines and the fuel consumption, it's all money. You know what I forgot? Almost missed it. I think I did 3,000.
You have I lost your stream here on Discord.
Yeah, I switched it off because I was picking up FPS issues.
Okay, no problem.
You want me to switch it on for you quickly again?
No. If you are eye on profile, or I don't know.
No. I remembered to set it lower before I hit top of descent.
That's
fortunately.
good.
Yeah.
Any questions, gents, about that common VNAV feature?
No,
Carl, are you using that on there in America, or I don't know?
Yeah. I don't know. The point for me is I hate it. I don't use it.
We hate them as well.
It confuses me.
Yeah.
Not for me.
We were so happy with the old VNAV style.
Yes.
I mean, I can understand the logic behind it. It's just to avoid a problem to the pilot of being in overspeed. But come on, if we are seated there, we have just a bit of knowledge that we will avoid to go overspeed.
Well, that's the point. That's the point. I think it's more for the lazy pilots. It's not for people that want to fly the plane. There's just too much automation. I mean, at some point in time, common sense should tell you that they lied to you about the speed brake and that you have to pull it when you have to pull it. You know, it's just you know, they haze you with it. It's a way to make a new pilot feel stupid, to tell him that the speed brake is the lever of shame and all this other nonsense. But I mean, hell, that's not how it works.
Absolutely, man. I have been out of base in many places. I remember the airport of Pescara in Italy. It's around the mountain. You have the very high mountain over there when you go skiing, and you have these small airports. You always need to play with the speed brake just to be able to do the visual approach or the circle to land. That's it. I love that, Carla. I will use that.
Exactly, Cole. I feel the same. It really annoys me.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
How's it, Scotsman?
You've done us proud this morning, gents. 30 months. Brilliant. Love it. Love it.
It's exactly the definition of visual approach.
Mac?
Yes, Nico?
Sorry for tagging you, but if you can help me make the video, Zibo wants to see a video where it fails. So I tagged you and Zibo in the response there, okay?
Zibo? Sorry, who wants to see it?
Zibo. Look in the dev room. Look in the dev room. He's come back to me.
By the way, I've managed to replicate it once more since you started streaming me.
I see he's busy typing there. Okay, so any and everybody watching, you obviously now hear Zibo's busy talking to us about this whole freezing situation. He did mention here that he will have to look at the code because there might be a bug in it, and then obviously we're going to make him the videos where it does fail because we can now reproduce it. It's taken 2 days to figure it out, but
out of interest, On an initial load of the aircraft, I can get it to. I got it to fail again.
Okay.
But if you do an FMC reset, then it doesn't seem to fail.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Trouble is, I can't make a video and send it to.
No. You and I can do it afterwards quickly. I'll record it and then I'll upload it privately to YouTube and just give him the private link. That's all.
No. Okay.
Or we'll ask him if he can't just come and join us quickly and just have a look. That might be easier. Then you can just show him and I can tell him my 2 cents. You know what? I've given him so much information since yesterday. He probably got tired already. I just kept on. This happened, that happened. And it's amazing. As we go through this whole process of elimination, it became clear. It's all about the activation. If you don't activate it correctly, the execute, I don't think is the problem. The execute is the thing that crashes it, yes. But the activation, if you don't activate it properly, that's when it crashes, because there's like the 2 things are not talking to each other, those 2 functions.
Right, you know, right, I'll talk to you when you finish your stream.
All right, well, I'm descending, I'm at 18,000 feet, so we're getting there. That looks beautiful. Look at that. I'm sometimes amazed still, you know, after all the years and things progress in this flight simulation. You just sometimes you look up and you see something and you go, wow, that just looks nice. Anyway, I see we went up to about 46 viewers. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Thanks for popping in. Obviously, not everybody stays the whole flight, and I think the crux of the matter was the first half of the stream anyway. But thank you so much for your support. Appreciate it. Hello, Paul.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Hey, Peter, thank you so much. Much appreciated.
Peter donated €19.99 through SuperChat. Thanks again, guys, for this educational stream.
Man, I wish we could do that for real, eh? Steve, that would be so cool, man. One day, if God's willing, we must organize something like that. Meet somewhere central and do something. Pin, we fly mainly on Ivao. I've promised a few guys I'll do a Vatsim flight, but I've never come around to do it. Our homies with Ivao, man, they've been really good to us and they've really looked after us. Woo! Scotsman! There you go. Thank you so much.
Bless you, sir. To all you guys who made a donation this morning.
The Flying Scotsman donated £20 through SuperChat.
Question, Nico.
Mm.
Chat.
Oh yeah, no, I spoke about the Ivao thing already. That's the one that you're referring to, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to go back to Vatsim unless it's for a special occasion or on request. There's no reason for me to go back after everything they did to me and our group. Yeah, it's just one of those things. We found a home with Ivao and we're happy.
They put themselves out for us,
Oh, absolutely.
we believe in loyalty.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're loyal to us like nobody's business. Those guys are really good to us. Yeah, Scotsman. I'm glad you like it, man. I'm glad we didn't give up on each other in the beginning. Thank you for sticking around and, you know, all your contributions. I mean, you're making awesome videos and keeping everything alive there.
Oh, I'm happy, Nico. I was asking yesterday that with DVA is all sorted now.
Yeah, the VA story, thank you to you too. Guys, I need to mention this to you. I've mentioned it 2 or 3 times already, but Sasso is our sponsor of the year for the VA. Guys, you must thank him very much because he made sure that we could extend the lifespan for this year. He's paid the annual fee to the hosting company, the ISP. And thank you, Sasso.
Thank you so much. Well, it was not needed, but yeah, it's a pleasure, absolutely.
Yeah. No, credit's due when it's due, you know.
Bless you, Sasso.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Niels, I don't know if I really want to go into it on stream, but we were treated a bit nasty and, you know, we had unpleasant things happen to us. I also tried for approximately 18 months to get Vatsim to give us training facilities. And when it all came to nothing, I went to Ivao. I just happened to know Denton. You know, we're both South African and I've known him for many, many years. It took him 3 days to give us all our facilities, everything we needed, everything and more. And from there on, Ivao has been like a mother hen to us. She's been looking after us like, you know, nobody's business. And with Vatsim, I grew tired of asking, not getting anything. And then I grew tired of the insults and the injuries that the people, you know, flung our way. But that, like I said, I don't want to go in on details. I don't hold it against them. I just believe to be loyal to the people that looked after me when I needed them, you know, and that's where Ivao comes in. I don't mind flying on Vatsim. I'll go back there, like I said, for special occasions and on request, no problem. But, I mean, our whole VA, our whole life, everything Skymatix related, even the work that Zibo did with Ivao, it's all done with Ivao. It's not done with Vatsim. You know, and I know afterwards one or two of the more senior people of Vatsim did contact me and ask me, you know, to explain to them, so they know, and it's no use in, you know, keep on hammering on the old things and, you know, going back to the ditch and dragging the old dead cow out every time. You know, but it's what it is, you know, and Ivao, they earned our respect as we earned theirs, and so we're happy. Paul?
Yes, Nico.
I just realized we're not going over your home today. We're using the other runway. I'm sorry.
Well, I've had enough flour dropped in my head by you over the years, so don't worry about that.
Okay, all right, cool. Thank you.
It's like when I'm coming over a friend's house, I always slow down a bit early, so then the aircraft has to increase the bit of thrust. Just to say hello.
Takeoff was great. We will see your landing.
Like, hello, it's me.
What you'll have to do, Sasso, when you go to do that flight is to put a flour bag or something up in one of the undercarriage bays.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Lower the undercarriage.
Like, present is coming.
Flaps 5 set. Approaching transition. Transition level. Ready for approach checklist.
Uncle John,
Yes, sir.
I forgot to start the ACARs.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh!
Told you we've got to get that illuminated soon, sign made.
Mm.
Localizer capture.
Side of that, I'm
Capture.
sure I can speak for everybody that's been watching on stream. A superb tutorial today. Thank you, Sato, Carl, and of course Nicky.
Yeah, pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
To level off.
Referring to what Carl was saying, that some instructor say that if you use the speed brake then you did a mistake or something similar, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I was referring to that.
I think he wants a recommendation or two, perhaps. Something particularly tricky in the hills, something particularly steep, perhaps.
Yeah, to go and fly.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Many airports, many airports in Greece also have mountain around, and these will create winds. Okay? And then when you have the winds, maybe on the ground, the wind is headwind for the landing runway. But at 2,000 feet, when you get established on the ILS, for instance, you have 20 knots of tailwind. So you need to manage this, and you will need the speed brake, for instance. No, that's all. I don't know if it was...
Pescara.
Sorry?
Did you not mention Pescara earlier? You said something about in or about.
Yeah,
Pescara is just Pescara is just one of them because the approach of that runway is over the sea. But I can recall Bari is the same situation when you are coming from the sea to land on the runway. You always pick up tailwind. So it's many airports have these particular things. Actually, in general, Pescara is one of the easy one because the glide is 3 degrees for runway 22, I think it is. You are coming from the sea, so you may well have a bit of tailwind, but the glide is 3 degrees. If you go in Naples, runway 06, you have the glide of 3.5 offset from the runway as well. So you have to manually then align yourself with the runway. Yeah, so, you know. Best practice airports, Napoli. Napoli runway 06, yeah.
Feet stabilized, Mr. Birch, altitude set.
This wind is moving about 5 or so, make it 8 degrees left and right, so it's not very stable, and it's 14 knots, so hope we survive.
Approaching 0.5 left.
Clear to land runway 05 left.
500. 400. 300. 'Approaching decision height 200. Minimums 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Break up. Reverse unlocked. On the frame.
Thank you so much. I'm using, what do you call this thing again?
Great landing.
XP realistic.
That's the one, XP Realistic. That's what I use for all this shaking and everything.
Stabilized.
After landing procedure.
After landing procedure.
Tommy, you're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day. While we're on that subject, we've got family coming over, so I'm not sure if I'm going to stream again tonight. We'll see what happens, okay?
After landing procedure complete.
Yeah, that's a good option, XP Realistic. Really makes it fun to fly.
Well, er så langt kan man components hans either.
Handbrake set. Shutdown procedure.
Shutdown procedure.
Mac?
Yeah?
What airport do we go to for that test for Zibo?
LGKV.
LGKV, okay.
Shutdown procedure.
Might ask you again for it. Okay, I'll ask again. Well, thank you so much, and thank you to everybody watching. This is it. Zibo's waiting for us, so hopefully we can...
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not physically here, but he's waiting for the results. He wants us to test it so he can fix it. What he said is, if we can give him the video to replicate the thing, he can replicate it on his side, and then he can dump the variables for analysis to find out why it's freezing the whole system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to run for the greater good. We'll speak to you when we speak to you. And thank you so much for all your support. Bye-bye for now.
Ready for shutdown check.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.